On live.
Okay, Mama. Hi. Say hi. This is Jesse, and I'm Dr. Mark. And we're here with you as we wait for all of our friends to join us for this live stream presentation about puppies. Right? Are you excited about puppies? I'm excited about puppies because you're my puppy. Mwah. Okay. Well, people are going to trickle in just for a couple more minutes and then we'll get started, okay? I know. All you care about are the treats on the table. Okay, Mama. Hope everyone's staying safe. Our friends in DC, everyone's staying safe tonight. It's a little stressful, but as long as you got your puppy, everything's gonna be okay. Yeah. Okay, just give everyone more time, Mom. We got another minute or two, okay? Hi, Mindy. Hi, Paula. We have some friends trickling in already. You want? Okay, this is exciting, Mom. I know. All you can see are my treats waiting just for you. Okay, Judy. One more minute. We'll wait for everyone to give us a nice little join, okay? More treats. It's been a big day today. We went running, right? And all you can think about is food. We went for a jog this morning. Huh? It was a little cold out today, though. Ready to go? Okay, welcome everyone. This is a very, very exciting evening. I'm Dr. Mark, and this is my companion, Jesse. Jesse, the black and white boxer. Look at the camera. All right. Well, today we are bringing you this live stream event to talk to you all about puppies and new dogs in general. I'm very excited to give this talk because I got a new puppy. So this is Jesse again, and Jesse and I met each other back in August, and we're so excited to be with each other. And so let me give Jesse one more treat, and then I'll let her lay down because she looks a little bit tired. Okay, Mama, do you want to go lay down? I love you. Okay, go relax. Good girl. Okay, so again, as I mentioned to you, this is a really, really exciting topic for me because it's the holidays. The holidays just finished. We just had Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, everything that you can think of. And I'm sure many of you got a new puppy. Maybe because of the pandemic, the times that we have alone and people wanted to spend some more time with a new companion in their life. But also people like giving puppies as gifts. And then there's all the shelters where puppies and adult dogs are definitely in need of a new home. So if you have a new puppy, please do feel free to share it in the chat. And also let me know the breed. Let me know if it's a mixed breed, how old it is. I'm really excited to learn about your dogs while I teach you a little bit about what you can do to help your dog in your new home. So let's get started with our presentation. By the way, if anyone has questions, I'm mostly going to be saving the questions till the very end. I'll be talking for about a half hour, and then we'll have about 15 more minutes thereafter for questions. That said, if anyone has a relevant question during the presentation, I'm happy to go ahead and start discussing it. So go back to the very beginning. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is about not just puppy success, even though that's the title. This is about every new dog in your home and the things that you should be doing, at least from my perspective as a veterinarian, the things that I most often see when I have clients, as well as any other species. And just to briefly take a step back and give you a bit more about my background, myself, I went to veterinary school about 15 years ago, and since that time, I have worked with dogs and cats in the clinic, but also every other species under the sun that you could possibly think of. I did a lot of training, a residency training at the Bronx Zoo in New York City, and then worked for the Smithsonian, and then overseas in China, Myanmar, all over Southeast Asia, working with wildlife. So a lot of the things that I talk about today regarding puppies and new dogs into your home also are relevant for all the wild animals out there that we work with. Just like, isn't that true, Jessie? Yeah, I think Jessie wants another treat too. So let me give her just one. There you go. Not too much because we have to have dinner soon. All right. So, Anna has an Esky, a 4-month-old one. So that's really exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what everyone else has. Okay. So, puppy selection. I'm so sure that many of you, as you grew up, have probably thought about what are the different puppies out there? What could I possibly bring to my life? I've grown up with this breed or a mixed breed, myself included. And so has anyone actually ever seen this poster? This is a poster of all of the dog breeds that were put out by the American Kennel Club a long time ago. Myself, I used to salivate over this exact poster because I just wanted to learn all of the different breeds of dogs out there. And, you know, the puppy lover in me really wanted every single dog that was on there. And like, today I'm going to be a working farmer and I'm going to have, you know, a Shetland sheepdog. And then tomorrow I'm going to be, you know, an old lady living in a shoe with 20 little puppies. So all very exciting. And I'm sure many of you have also really wanted that as well. So, a Cavalier King Charles, a 14-month-old. That's amazing. 2 Cavalier King Charles. That's really exciting too. Okay. All right. So just a little background about dogs in general. A lot of you already know this. Dogs come from gray wolves. Gray wolves, you know, this big scary wolf in the wild, but from tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ago, actually, back with the early humans, the gray wolf was actually domesticated. And over time, depending on what the civilization brought us, that particular group of people, they created different breeds of dogs that met the needs of that civilization. So you can see a breakdown between Europe, North America, China, and India, all of these different types of dogs out there. I see a 10-year-old Cocker Spaniel and a 10-year-old Shih Tzu by Mindy. My family has some Shih Tzus. Okay, so as I already mentioned, you know, there are many, many, many different dog breeds out there, all stemming from the gray wolf. But you can imagine that to make these different breeds, you kind of have to inbreed a lot of these different dogs to get them to look the way you want them to. As a result, many of these different breeds of dogs have their own specific genetically related diseases that unfortunately go alongside. You could see, for instance, the boxer dog. This is my dog. This is me. And, you know, a lot of people recommend, veterinarians in particular, do your homework. Ensure that if you want to choose a breed to work with or to be your companion, do the homework because they may be predisposed to certain diseases that you're not ready to handle, whether that's young life genetic diseases or even older life genetic diseases. That's a big deal because some of these diseases can cost you several $1,000s, if not more. And beyond the cost of the disease management, it's the pain and the discomfort of your companion that you really don't want them to have to be put through. So that said, people want what they want. I want what I want. And I've always loved boxers. I've grown up with boxers. And yet I know for sure boxers have a ton of different genetic diseases that they are predisposed to. And you can see here, the list goes on and on. Arterial septal defect, aortic stenosis, dilated cardiomyopathy. Some of these words I'm sure many of you have never even heard of. But unfortunately, fortunately, there are many veterinarians that are out there that have become so accustomed to treating a lot of these diseases and at least are able to make sure that your companion can make it to a full lifespan comfortably. And with advancements in medicine, you know, we are able to do that more and more. Then the other side is adoption, pet adoption. Some people are out there, oh, I don't want to adopt a pet because I don't know what its behavior is going to be like. Or some people might say, you should only adopt a pet because there's pets that are in need. And there are absolutely valuable reasons to adopt a pet or not to adopt a pet. But you know something? Whichever path you choose, to adopt a dog from the shelter or to purchase your pet from a breeder, you need to provide that wonderful, loving home for both of them. Okay. So there are some things, as I mentioned, as a veterinarian, that we should all be thinking about. And these are the things that I will tell my clients. They are the things that I will tell my friends. And that is pet-proof your home. Make sure that you have the right diet. Train your dog, socialize it, and then provide it with the appropriate veterinary care. So we're going to break this down and go through each one of these for you. Okay, so first things first, pet toxins. I don't know how many times I have been spoken to by my friends, my clients, anyone who I just meet randomly. They're like, I didn't know that was toxic to a dog or a cat for that matter. And so these include the list that I have for you. These are the top 10 toxins that, at least in US households, that dogs get into, that it's pretty bad. So you can imagine human prescriptions, whether that's antidepressant, anxiety pills, aspirin, or acetaminophen, like Tylenol. All of these very basic drugs that a lot of homeowners have can be deadly to dogs. And so it's really important to be able to take those pills and hide them up in your closet or somewhere that is completely inaccessible. Just this past summer, a terrible, heartbreaking story. A friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, lost his 6-year-old pit bull because a medicine bottle fell down from the medicine cabinet and he got into it. And he did wind up actually passing away. And so it's something so simple. It was just, he had an aspirin overdose. And so it's really important for you guys, just make sure you are protecting your dog by putting your medicine away. Same thing with different kinds of foods, onions, grapes, raisins, avocados, chocolate, the number one, xylitol. Does anyone, just by responding on the chat, does anyone know what xylitol is, what it's from? What is a very common product that we all have that contains xylitol? Xylitol. Anyone know? Well, I'll tell you. It is the sweetener for sugar-free gums, actually. And it is a deadly component to dogs. They don't have the enzyme to break it down. And then the list goes on. You can see these are very obvious things, rodenticides, plants, and there are tons of websites out there that go into detail what exactly can be toxic to your pets. And so I encourage you, anything that you might not know, feel free to shoot a question over to Google or to us at kin+kind, and our team would be very happy to help. Jennifer, Denise, Mindy, you all got it. Thank gosh. I'm so glad that people know this. Okay, so the next thing, diet selection. There are tons of diets out there to choose from. It can be quite overwhelming. Do you choose Purina? Do you choose Hills? Do you choose a raw diet? Do you choose a fresh diet? And myself included, I live in New York City and I see in the subway ads all the time a different type of diet that is offered to pets. And I'm like, is this something I should be recommending to my clients? Is this something I should be offering to my pets? Again, this is something that we'll probably wind up getting into in subsequent live stream events. In fact, we did actually discuss in detail some of the benefits of raw versus kibble diets in one of our previous events, but most likely we'll continue to move forward with that. Also, I highly recommend you going to Kin+Kind University, where we have a lot of information out there that I myself have reviewed to ensure that we're putting out good information for you to have ready access to all of different reasons for choosing different diets. Okay, let's move on. So we have options for supplementation. So I'm sure also, in addition to seeing all of the different options of choosing the right diet, is choosing a supplement. I have a puppy. I have a grown dog. I have a senior dog. I have a dog with this disease. I have a dog with arthritis. Which supplement do I choose? You know what? I can't tell you right now, but it does matter. Supplements help. I take supplements for myself, really depending on what I do. If I'm going to be super active, go to the gym a lot, of course, I'm going to be enhancing my body with the right products, extra calcium, extra iron, because I know that I'm going to be maybe abusing my body a little bit, putting some extra stress on my joints, or I'm going to need more calories, or I'm going to need, I want a lustrous, beautiful hair coat. All of these things matter, and it depends on your breed. It depends on their health status. It depends on their age. It depends on where you live. But there are many supplements out there. So many different companies sell them. And honestly, I've reviewed them. They all look really damn good. There's some out there that are better than others. I know for sure that kin+kind has several out there that I enjoy, that I employ with my dog. Jessie certainly loves her vitamin boost. And I don't know if anyone saw, she has a beautiful coat. And no one can tell me otherwise. And that's in part because I use some of the kin+kind products, and I will, promote them every day of the week just because I really, truly believe in them. Okay. So then moving on, training and socialization. Sometimes people are concerned about their puppies getting trained, and they are right to do so. And the reason is because puppies, when they come into the house, most often they don't have their full set of vaccinations. And this is a real thing. This is an important thing. There are many diseases that puppies can get, and adult dogs too, and it's incredibly important to ensure that your puppy is fully vaccinated, at least for the viruses or the diseases that they can get, depending on what area you live in. But once the puppy is fully vaccinated, and if you have an adult dog, it's important to get them out there. Get them to play with other dogs. Get them to play with children. Get them to play with adults. All of these things are absolutely essential to ensure that your puppy has a behavior that's going to be welcoming and genuinely good for other animals, and not threatening to the other dogs that they might see on the street or children that might be coming into their territory. So all of this is valuable. You might even consider going to a dog social group in the puppy parks. Even for puppies that aren't vaccinated, find that puppy social for other dogs that aren't vaccinated, that are really young, deemed healthy by your veterinarian, that they could just have little puppy meetups. And that's why a lot of breeders also say, ensure that you don't take your puppy away from mom and their litter until they're at least 8 weeks old, because there are essential growing steps for their behavior up until 8 weeks and beyond, actually. So, there's a lot of information, and you can talk to behaviorists about this as well. Okay, now going into veterinary care. Mindy Procopio. I'm excited to see that she is a technician and practices holistic care, myself included. I truly enjoy holistic medicine. Just to give you another little quick background information, I spent a few years in China and Southeast Asia, specifically working with giant pandas. And a lot of the work we did was also quite holistic and relied on traditional Chinese medicine. So pretty cool stuff. It crosses the boundaries of human medicine into animals, and it's wonderful. Okay, so let's go into veterinary care, dive a little bit. All right, so there are a lot of things that we should be considering in dogs that are both old, young, and middle-aged. New dogs that you bring in that are adults, it's really important to, again, make sure that you're vaccinated. So we already talked about this in terms of what you should do, but then there are details of what vaccinations you should be getting. These include rabies, canine distemper, adenovirus, and parvovirus. These are things that are across the board. You can get anywhere in the world, and they are endemic across the world. But then there are other things that really are dependent on your location and your lifestyle. These include Bordetella, leptospirosis, Lyme disease, and canine influenza. In New York City, all those things are important. In a lot of big cities, all of those things are exceptionally important. just a few weeks ago, I was at the dog park, and this poor little Shiba Inu was very sick, and they diagnosed it had kidney failure, and it was only 6 months old. One thing that we suggested was just in chatting, why don't you get the dog checked for leptospirosis? We are in New York City rat haven, and rats, mice carry leptospirosis, and they transmit it in their urine, believe it or not. So sure enough, they tested it had leptospirosis. Thankfully, they were actually able to treat it, and all the lepto went away. And then, of course, they wound up vaccinating annually. All right. There is a question that a lot of people have been giving me, and that is about COVID-19. Is this something that is a threat to my dog, my cat even? Is this something that I should be vaccinating my pet for? Is this something I should be worried about giving to or getting from my companion? And you're right to be concerned about this. To give you another background about me, I've had many different hats as a veterinarian. And in fact, I spent the last 5 years working in and out of Southeast Asia, specifically looking in wildlife for coronaviruses. And my team found 6 novel coronaviruses in bats in Myanmar, or Burma, which is the more common name for it. So this is a disease that's out there. It's a disease that we do worry about. Fortunately, what we know right now, COVID-19 is not a major threat for your companions. I know some of you may have heard that it was found in tigers and lions, actually, in the Bronx Zoo. And that's not wrong. My light just went out, and I'm not sure why, but so you guys are going to have to deal with a little bit of a duller face for the rest of this chat, but that's okay. So they can get it. They can get it for sure. However, it's not as severe of a disease as it would be in humans. We have not had a single animal die from the disease, and it's very mild, if anything. There is a chance that they can pick it up from humans, or from other dogs, just from nasal secretions, but not a threat for anything that we know of at this time. So, okay. What I did want to mention is that dogs are in the taxonomic order called carnivora. It's a term for any animal that is related, like you and I are in the taxonomic order primates. Dogs are in the order carnivora, which includes cats, big cats, lions, and tigers and cheetahs. Canids like wolves and foxes, as well as bears, but also other animals. But what I did want to mention is that all of these animals, we also vaccinate for a lot of the same diseases. In fact, there are many lions in the Serengeti all over Africa that are known to have populations dying specifically from canine distemper. Same thing in China with pandas. It's something that we absolutely worry about. Okay. Beyond that, we also worry about other species of the order Carnivora, which include walrus, believe it or not, and sea lions, but also raccoons. And I'm sure many of you who live in the cities of North America, you know there are many, many raccoons out there. And of course, as a result, they share a lot of the same diseases that your dogs can get. So they can get it from your dogs and also give it to raccoons. So there's parasites and other viruses like rabies, of course, that we are often worried about. Okay. All right. Then a bigger problem, or not so big of a problem anymore in the US, is heartworm. This is a problem that was really bad 70s and 80s before we had this massive campaign to deworm a lot of dogs in the pet industry, and also remove a lot of wild or feral dogs from the populations. And that is by treating heartworm. We're able to almost eliminate this as a problem in this area. And heartworm specifically is exactly what you think about it. It's worms that live inside the heart. In fact, my mother's dog 40 years ago died of heartworm. She was a boxer. Very terrible. But always treat your dog for heartworm. This is an important one. Don't skip out on this, okay? Then, of course, there's intestinal worms, and there's fleas, ticks, and mites. And so we'll go into the flea, ticks, and mites right now. So there are a lot of products out there that are able to treat this. There's medical products that veterinarians often recommend. Then there's holistic products like essential oils that work almost as good, if not better. And so you can see here, kin+kind sells a natural product, an organic product that encourages the use of essential oils to be able to help stop the insects from even getting on the body. They are natural repellents, and this is something that wild animals have taken advantage of to try to reduce their insect load on their bodies as well. And this is something that I use as well on my own socks. So I will spray essential oils like this kin+kind product on my body, just so when I'm going out into the woods, I don't get these things on me. But it's an important thing for you to consider for yourself, wherever you are, especially, yes, Mindy actually said it herself, in southern climates, especially for a heartworm, for sure. Okay, go on. All right, identification is also an important thing. So a collar, a simple collar with a name tag is great, always, of course. There's always a chance that your dog might run away, might escape, might get scared, not because it wants to get away from you, but maybe it's outside and you were playing fetch in the park and it heard a loud noise and then boom, runs away, just because it's trying to find a safe haven, and someone's got to find it. Having that ID is a lifesaver for both your dog and you. On top of that, there are many different methods of identification beyond tags. Microchip identification is a real good one. People sometimes get nervous. It's a big needle. It's going into the muscle or under the skin of my animal. But you know something? I do this all the time, and it's a lifesaver for the animals for sure. I do it not just in dogs and cats, I do it in birds, tiny little birds that are this big, and it helps us ensure that we're identifying the right animal. In case, one gets hurt, we need to know, where do you go back to? Where is your partner? Where is your mate? And so it helps us ensure that we're doing the right thing behaviorally for that animal, and ensuring that we're also bringing them back to the right location. Okay. Then spaying and neutering. This is something that, my uncle, my crazy uncle, he sometimes likes to debate me and says, there's no reason to spay or neuter your dog. It's just bread and butter. You're just trying to make money off of me. But there's an absolute important reason here. And, you can see this photo here, prevents unwanted litters. Okay, that's a no-brainer. But if I have only one dog and I'm not bringing it outside, I don't have to worry about getting a litter. Okay, prevents some diseases. Like what? Cancer, of course. Any cancer of the genital tract you can prevent by removing it. So that's also a no-brainer. But some might say, my dog has lived forever and never had cancer and still has their uterus or their testicles. That's well and good. But there's a subset, a number that actually will guarantee have cancer. We can't predict which dog is going to have the issue, but someone's going to do it. Just like with humans, there's a percentage that will wind up suffering. So this is an easy one to do. But not only that, not only do you need to remove the organ, but sometimes the organs, like the uterus, like the ovaries, like the testicles, have hormones that they put out. And those hormones affect other organs that will cause cancer inside their bodies. Okay, now here's the biggest one that I think is the most important one, and that is reduces roaming, fighting, marking, and mounting. These are behavioral changes that are often not wanted in the home. Dogs have an incredible sense of smell. We all know this. And so, if there's a dog, you have a male dog in your house and there's a female several blocks away that's in heat, your dog can smell it. And your dog can get it through that vent, and then your dog's going crazy inside your house. And then he decides, I want to mark your entire house. I'm going to mark your computer. I'm going to mark your toilet. I'm going to mark your stove. Nobody wants that. And then the same thing when you go outside. They're marking everything. And while that's a good, fun thing for your dog to do, it's not so fun when you have the urine all over your house, or it takes you an hour or 2 hours just to go for a walk outside. On top of that, they're a little stressed because they want to breed. Your female dog, your male dog, they want to breed during these periods. And when they don't get to breed, it's a rough thing. In fact, this is an ethical question that we've actually gone through back and forth with zoo animals, wild animals that don't get to breed. In Europe, they have determined that the animals must breed if they have their organs inside them. Otherwise, it's a poor animal welfare consideration. Okay. So now diarrhea. This is a big one too, and one that requires a really long conversation because there's so many different reasons for diarrhea. And some diarrhea is just because you have a very simple problem. They just had a bad food reaction, or sometimes it's a life-threatening concern. So there again, there's information on Kin+Kind University that we will be putting up that discusses diarrhea in depth. So that way we can offer you some of the main situations and things that you can do to help your dog prevent this problem, or also treat it in the future. And then, of course, washing. A lot of people want to wash their dogs if they live in a very clean area. Some people say don't wash your dogs because they need to have all of their oils that protect their fur. And I'm going to tell you, from my opinion, from what I know working in the field for the last 15, 20 years, as long as you're using the right shampoo that's pH balanced for your pet, but also addresses the kind of fur, the lifestyle, the location, and any possible diseases that they might have, like itching or allergies. Shampoo, it's okay. My dog, she gets shampooed twice a week, and she looks fantastic. I also ensure that I'm providing her with the right diet. I give her a fresh diet because I want to make sure she's eating something that I might want to eat, but also is perfectly balanced and has the right fatty acids, the omegas, the things that I know are going to provide a healthy skin coat. Of course, supplements also can be a benefit, okay? All right, and I think there are many shampoos out there, and you can certainly look at Kin+Kind shampoos, but also there's tons and tons of other shampoos out there your veterinarian can also recommend. No one might be better than the others. The Kin+Kind shampoos are great because they have great smelling essential oils. And then that's it. So questions for everyone. All right. I actually have been ignoring the chats, so I'm going to go through and start looking at which questions are really cool. Okay, Lydia Fisk has asked, what are the most important vaccines that puppies need? Okay, Lydia, that's an excellent question. And again, I wanted to mention, it's really important to know the lifestyle and where you live. For me, as a veterinarian, what I mostly recommend, rabies, canine distemper, adenovirus, and parvoviruses are absolutely essential. If you're living in the Northeast or even all over North America, I would recommend influenza viruses. And if you plan on getting your dog, or your companion rather, to interact with other dogs in a puppy park or going to the vet hospital or any sort of boarding situation, Bordetella is essential. My dog got Bordetella because I was careless and absolutely wanted to bring my dog outside, and I couldn't wait for her vaccines to be over. And I was like, she wants to play. I'm just going to take the risk. And unfortunately, I put other dogs at risk by doing so. And so highly recommended. And again, if you're from a city where there's a lot of rodents, leptospirosis. One vaccine that is questionable would be Lyme. Only 10% of dogs actually truly suffer from Lyme disease, but that's 10% of dogs that could really suffer severely. So if you're from an area that has Lyme disease, and also take your dog out often into the woods, Lyme disease is a good one. If you want to ensure that you don't want to give too many vaccines, that's okay too. Just you have to prevent those ticks from getting on in the first place. And then I recommend either those holistic or Western medical products. Okay, Patty Phillips has asked, what are the most important patterns of behavior to look for when choosing among puppies in a litter? So you can select a puppy that is really compatible with you. Unfortunately, I would have to say this is a difficult one. And that's because puppies will completely trick you. They're little sneaksters. So, I would say, if I was personally going to look for puppies in a litter, I'm going to want one that's going to be interactive, but also a little sleepy. But they change. There's really not much of a predictor. You can go with your instincts about this, talk to the breeder, but that's bit of a harder one. Maybe we talk to a behaviorist for that one. They would have a much better suggestion. Okay. Marion Teichman says, what titer do you recommend? Actually, I'm not sure what this question is. This is titer, I presume. Oh, a titer test. So titers are often associated with the viruses that we want to know are in the area. And it's a good question, actually, because some people, and myself included, don't want to over-vaccinate. There are some animals, wildlife, that I don't want to over-vaccinate. There are some people that don't want to spend the money. And so you suggest at times, let's just do a titer to see if they were even exposed and they have enough antibodies to protect them. But it's really up in the air with that one. Unfortunately, it really depends on where you're from, how severe the diseases are. For instance, I have to worry about waterfowl, ducks, when they're exposed to West Nile virus. And, I might have 2,000 ducks at a time that I have to treat. And then it's going to cost the owner tens of thousands of dollars just to vaccinate these ducks. And so instead, I might choose 2 or 3 and check their titers and say, okay, let's not vaccinate because they all have huge titers. But then another day, another location, I might say, you have tons of mosquitoes and there's tons of West Nile. Just vaccinate because it's important to protect. So your question is highly dependent on where you're from and what the activity and lifestyle your puppy is going to be in. Okay, so I have a few other questions that we actually wound up getting beforehand. So let's see. Marianne says, I just got a new Yorkshire Terrier puppy. Can small dogs eat raw diets? That's a good question too. Again, I went over this actually in a previous live stream event, and there's a lot of information out there on Kin+Kind University. But I did want to say one thing, and that is you have to be careful with your diets. Raw diets are not bad at all. However, they have to be balanced. So I highly recommend you go online, find the information that helps you create a fully balanced diet, so you're not missing some of the most important features that are common deficiencies in raw diets, like calcium, like phosphorus. And these are things that you would get in bones and in typical commercial diets. One thing I did also want to say with that is that the common myth is that, well, dogs are wolves. Dogs are related to wolves. They've just been bred down. And so therefore, wolves eat raw diets, and therefore my dog gets a raw diet. However, puppies, dogs, all these different breeds have been manipulated with their genetics so far gone that they are no longer considered a wolf. And they have completely adapted to a different lifestyle. And imagine saying, my dog is a wolf, but you have a little Maltese named Fluffy. Imagine putting Fluffy out into the wild and saying, go ahead, go eat your raw diet, go catch your rabbit, or go catch, your buffalo. It's not going to happen. There are things that have changed in that body genetically. You have to account for now that it is dependent on humans for existence. Okay. Jennifer says, another question I have is, should I train my puppy myself or hire a dog trainer? You know something? If you are really good, well read up, you follow all of the information online, you could do a good job. You can get so far. Myself, I tried doing the same thing. I'm a veterinarian. I've spent literally the last 30 years living and working with animals. I spent the last 15 years as a practicing veterinarian. Unfortunately, I still don't know enough about training dogs because I'm not a trainer. I'm not a behaviorist. And so oftentimes I have to go to the professionals, the behaviorists and the trainers, to teach me what I need to do with my Jessie, and ensuring that she does the right thing. So I only was able to go so far, but then I wound up hiring or contacting a behaviorist for the rest of my problems. All right, Alyssa asks, what breeds of dogs are the least problematic? That's a huge question. You need to do your research. There's a lot of information out there on breeds. And me, when I think of least problematic, I'm thinking of veterinary problems. I'm thinking of health. I'm thinking of genetics and what's going to wind up causing that dog to suffer. There are some things that people are okay with. And dogs seem certainly fine with, itching and whatnot. But, it's a debate. And so it's important for you to go ahead, get that book, get any book out there that talks about the breeds and ensures that you get something that talks about health as well as behavior. Because Say you live in New York City and you want to get that Shetland sheepdog, there's no way that that dog is not going to have behavior problems because they are a working dog and they need a lot of attention. And if you're going to work every day in the office, that dog is going to be destroying your pillow. Okay, I think I have one more question from Matt. My puppy Jackson is 4-month-old and bites everything. How do I deal with teething? You know something, this is the same thing. This is the exact reason I wound up actually going to my behaviorist friend and said, my dog is biting everything. My dog bites my hand. My dog bites my calves. My dog bites my ankles, and then it bites everything in my house. How do I stop this? You know, as a veterinarian, first answer, give it a sedative. But obviously we're not going to do that. But there are some calming things that we can offer, over-the-counter supplements that help calm your dog. But the behaviorist says, and of course, you should be getting this information from a behaviorist, maybe not so much from a veterinarian, but they helped me out and my dog doesn't bite anything anymore. And that was very simply, anytime that your pet is teething or biting, give them the appropriate product. Say they decide, I want to bite on this chair, furniture, the leg of the chair. Stop them. Give them the product you want them to bite on and provide them with many types of products. Hi, I think I lost the stream there for a second. Hopefully I didn't lose you too. But I was just finishing one more point, and that is how to stop the dogs from doing their teething. And so for me, it was just offering many different products and also offering the product when they're biting the wrong thing to teach them how to stop. So now she doesn't do anything except for grab her own chew toys, and that's the only thing she chews. I have not had a problem since, and it has now been 3 months that I've had no issues, and she's 6 months old now. Isn't that right, Jesse? She's sleeping. Sorry. Listen to me drone on. Okay, I think that is it. We had a lot of great questions, and I hope that a lot of you also learned a bit about new dogs in your household, puppies, veterinary health care, vaccinations, socialization and training, diets, and preparing your house. I do highly encourage all of you to go to kin+kind live streams, to watch our previous live stream events, and to also be aware for the new live streams that are coming every single month. In fact, there should be one more coming on January 27th. And in that circumstance, we will be talking about winter and what the cold weather does for your companion. Okay, so I believe we are sharing the link right now. Okay, so my partner in crime is telling me that the link is already shared. Okay, so if you have any other questions, you're welcome to comment on the kin+kind Facebook page. You can see us on Instagram, or go to our website and contact us at info@kin+kind.com. So it has been a pleasure to talk to all of you, and I'm very excited to speak to you again at our future live stream events. Thank you.